There are planes that impress with their aesthetics, and then there are those that leave behind only ashes and wreckage. The Warthog falls into the second category. It has neither elegant aerodynamics nor the sleek shine of 6th-generation composites, but it doesn't need them. The A-10 was built with a single purpose: to destroy armored vehicles, and it does that extremely well. It all starts with its main feature, the GAU A8 Avenger cannon. This is a 7-barrel, 30mm autocannon nearly 6 meters long. It weighs over 1,800 kilograms, more than the aircraft's engine itself. Its rate of fire is 3,900 rounds per minute, using armor-piercing incendiary shells that can penetrate up to 70 millimeters of steel from 1.5 kilometers away. The point is, when the pilot sees a tank, they don't think about maneuvering or locking a missile. They just pull the trigger and the enemy disappears.
It's incredibly accurate for a gun system and probably one of the most flexible weapon systems in the world.
To prevent the cannon from turning the aircraft itself into a sieve from the recoil, the A-10 was built asymmetrically. The gun is slightly offset to the left and the landing gear to the right. Everything is balanced down to the millimeter to keep the plane from twisting during combat. And this brings us to durability. The A-10 is basically a tank with wings. Its cockpit is a titanium bathtub that can withstand direct hits from 23mm cannons. Armor surrounds the pilot on all sides, and critical systems are either duplicated or tucked away in the most protected parts of the airframe.
I love single-seat cockpit. That's one of the reasons that I was enticed by the A-10.
Even the engines, 2 TF-34 GE100s are mounted far to the rear, above the wing, in a recessed position that reduces the heat signature and increases survivability. One engine's enough to get the aircraft out of the combat zone if the other is destroyed. The hydraulic systems are duplicated, and if they fail entirely, there's a backup mechanical control system. This isn't theoretical. There have been cases where Warthogs returned to base with half a wing missing, engines damaged, and no hydraulics. And despite its outward clumsiness, the A-10 is perfectly maneuverable at low altitudes. Its top speed is only 720 kilometers an hour, but that's the point. It can hover at 150 meters, engage targets, observe, adjust, and strike again. While modern jets are already speeding away, the A-10 is just starting its shift. Its armament is a story in itself. Besides the cannon, it carries up to 7,200 kilograms of ordnance, AGM-65 Maverick missiles, unguided and guided bombs, cluster munitions, flares, air-to-surface missiles, everything needed for true ground attack hell. The layout of its hardpoints allows for mission-specific loadouts. This flexibility is another key to its longevity. And when the Warthog is in action, it's not a show, it's an operation. It comes in low, quiet, beneath the radar. The enemy suspects nothing. And then the begins. And no, that's not a video edit sound. It's the real mechanical voice of death. One burst and a tank turns into a pile of burning metal. And that moment when you feel the sky working for you, that's exactly what makes the A-10 a favorite of the infantry on the ground.
We tried to shape an airplane that was directly useful in specifically support of Army troops.
But the true story of the A-10 doesn't begin with its cannon. It begins with how this aircraft managed to survive at all, with how engineers deliberately created a machine that, in every sense, flew against the trends of modern aviation. At first glance, the A-10 makes one thing clear. This isn't just an aircraft, it's a technical argument forged in metal. Pylons that withstand hellish loads, a cockpit surrounded by an armored tub impervious to conventional weapons, engines mounted high above the fuselage to reduce the risk of ground fire and simplify operation in emergency conditions. Even the landing gear, which partially remains exposed when retracted, that's not a design flaw, but a solution allowing the plane to land even without hydraulics. This isn't about style, it's about survival. But every one of these choices comes with a price. Limited speed, electronic challenges, the need for constant upgrades, and that's where a different kind of war began. Not on the battlefield, but in the halls of the Pentagon. Is it still worth the investment, or is it time to retire it? And every time someone tried to write it off, somewhere on the other side of the world, that same echoed once more. And yet, no solution is ever perfect. As early as the 1980s, it became clear that the A-10's electronics were aging faster than its airframe. Targeting systems were becoming obsolete, communications were primitive, and night operations posed serious challenges. That's when the first wave of upgrades began. In 2005, under the Precision Engagement Program, the A-10 received a new cockpit with color displays, GPS navigation, night vision capability, a modern weapons system with JDAM bombs, and Link 16 integration. Later came the A-10C, a version intended to be the final upgrade, though as history has shown, nothing about the Warthog is ever truly final. Its modernization has always been about finding balance between leave it as it is because it works and upgrade it so it survives. In 2022, the U.S. Air Force announced plans to replace the wings on 218 A-10s, extending its service life by at least another 10 years. Ironically, even after 50 years in the sky, it remains relevant, because there's still nothing else that can do its job better. And now for the most interesting part, where exactly this titanium-hearted grandpa has shown his fury? The first Gulf War? A classic. The A-10 destroyed over 900 tanks, 2,000 armored vehicles, and 1,200 artillery positions. In Kosovo, it supported NATO ground forces. In Afghanistan, it delivered precision strikes on mountain hideouts. In Syria and Iraq, it played an invaluable role in the fight against ISIS, where accuracy and endurance were critical. It flew when even newer jets didn't dare take off. Every A-10 mission is more than just a combat sortie. It's an act of direct support for those on the ground. It's that moment when infantry, hearing the familiar knew they now had a chance. And as long as the enemy fears its cannon more than any missile, this aircraft will remain a legend.